Good morning, cats. You know, I'm so fortunate and blessed to have this forest right behind my house. I always say I'm very blessed to have this forest behind me because to me, a blessing is from God. And this, to me, is God's miracle, God's creation. Everything in it is just so cool. It's just such a serene and peaceful place. And I just like to come back here and just feel the quietness. It's just a beautiful place. But it's so full of life, too. I mean, everything here is alive. The woods is full of the squirrels, and the raccoons make their nest in the hollow trees. The deer browse through here. The birds nest up in the trees. It's just full of life, and I mean, you know, there's growth all over the forest floor too. I'm reminded of when I was a youth, though, because you know the forest. I grew up in the woods. Our house was real close to the woods, and similar to this, much more acreage of woods though than I have here. So you could really go into the wilderness where I grew up. And what I would do, you know, as a teenager, I was always looking for more adventure. You know, I was just restless. And living in the country, there was a kind of a lack of adventure. So what I would do was wait till after dark, and in the summertime when it was real dark, I'd walk, you know, all the way back to the edge of the woods, and I would stand right here on the edge of the woods and feel the fear, I guess, you know, and just try to maintain courage, because the woods was such a mysterious place. You know, it was just pitch black back in there after dark. And you know, each day I would just trick a little further. I'd take a couple steps into the woods, and eventually it got to the point where I would go, you know, half a mile back into the woods in the pitch black with no flashlight, all by myself, just for the thrill of it. And you know, you will get night vision, so after a period of time spending time in the darkness, your eyes adjust, and I could see where I was going. But the woods was just a very mysterious, quiet place. Can also be dangerous too. In fact, you know, the woods, the forest could take your life. You know, if a thunderstorm came up and lightning hit one of these trees, you could be gone in a heartbeat. Right where I stand right here is a very dangerous place. You'll see this tree right here. It's completely dead, and it's being held up by one little twig. That's all that's holding that thing. So it's like a deadfall. I call those widow makers. And if I had been standing, you know, right there, and that thing gave way, it'd come down, knock me on the head, and it could kill me. So I am aware of that, and I've tried jiggling it and moving it, trying to get it to fall down, but it's kind of stuck there on this branch. So until it naturally drops out of there, I try to stay away from it. At the end of each video, well, a lot of videos, I'll say ride hard and die free. It's kind of my tagline. But it does have some meaning to me. I mean, dying, we never know when that day is going to come. I could have, you know, been bonked on the head today, and when that deadfall finally cut loose, and I could have been laying back there dead. But again, God's granted me another day, and I have no idea when that day will come, when I will pass on. But in the meantime, I continue to live my life to the fullest. And that's where I say, ride hard. You know, life isn't easy for any of us. Not in the least bit. I always say every one of us has our own cross to bear. Some of us more than others. The frogs are talking to me. They want to join in on this conversation too. But like I said, each one of us has our own cross to bear. We don't know what the other person is dealing with. They might be happy and joyful in their initial appearance. But if you knew behind the scenes what's going on there, you might find a different story. So many people are suffering in many different ways. Some physical, some mental. Some are having extreme financial difficulties. Some have been deeply hurt by family or loved ones, and they're just dealing with that pain, that deep-seated pain. And, I like to say that no matter what the burden is, you have to rise above it. You have to be strong. You have to be courageous. You have to keep your chin up. I know it's not always easy to do. It's not easy for some people at all because the burden is heavy and it's in their face all the time. But how do you deal with that? I deal with it by looking upward, looking to the light, looking to Jesus. Because really, it comes a point in time in your life when that's your only hope. When everything else has expired and everything else, there's no other way out. Like I say, you're down so low that it only looks like up. And that's your choice right there that you can make. And it's a pretty simple one to make. And it can change your life around and make a huge difference in your life. So that's what I say riding hard is. Life's not easy. Life is a hard ride for all of us. And, each one of us struggles in our own way. But we have to persevere. We have to carry on. We just can't, there's no quitting this life. There's no easy way out. But we can have hope and we can have help if we look for it. And then the end of that phrase when I say die free, I'm not afraid to die. I have no fear of death because I do believe that I have a better place that I will go. I do believe that my God, who has created me, who's created all this beautiful nature and all these miracles, the flowers and the birds and the butterflies, everything, He has so much more for us. Our spirit will never die. Our spirit will live on. Our soul, that's our very being. The body will die, the body will turn back to dust, but our soul will continue on eternally. And it's how we want to spend that eternity that we have to really deeply consider. So many people want to ignore that fact. And they just say, oh, well, whatever happens, happens. Once I die, it's done. You could ignore it, but wouldn't you rather know in your heart that you're making the right choice? That even if you're wrong, it's still going to go either way, But make the choice to trust in the Lord, to believe in Jesus Christ, and improve your life. You'll see it's not an easy journey by any means. In fact, for most people that profess to be Christians, it can be a very difficult life. People that are Christians seem to be nitpicked, seem to be pointed out as hypocrites, because people look at Christians and think, well, they should be perfect, they should be holier than thou. But Christians are not. They're just like everybody. We're all sinners. We're all born of sin. We all do bad things. It just boils down to one fact. If you believe in Jesus, you will be saved, and He will look out after you. He does forgive us, even though we fail repeatedly. But without Him, there's no forgiveness. There's no hope. There's nothing to look forward to. So, that's my story for you today. I will hope that you will consider that and make a big difference in your own life. And that you too can ride hard and die free. Well, cats, thanks for watching my video. If you liked it, hit me with a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, please subscribe and continue to join me on this ride. Till next time, cats, I'll catch you all later.